He's an incredible 8-year-old boy who has not let anything get in the way of him helping people. 2 years ago, Elliot first began donating his Christmas presents to the local hospital to help other children who were in need of some Christmas cheer.
Well, after raising thousands of pounds to help others, Elliot was then sadly diagnosed with a brain tumour earlier this year. However, he's determined to continue his fundraising, and he joins us now alongside his parents, Christian and Samantha. Good morning to you all, especially to you, Elliot. Thank you for joining us this morning. So this sort of toy appeal began back in 2018, didn't it? And Samantha, you asked Elliot what he'd like for Christmas, what would be on his Christmas list, and what did he say?
He just said that he's got enough and he would just like to donate to people that needed presents. So we spoke to him about what kind of people would he like to donate to, and he said he'd like to donate them to children in hospital. He felt that children that had to spend Christmas in hospital would be really lonely and really sad, and that would be a really lovely thing to do. So it all started from there, really.
So the Christmas appeal was then born, and you took it onto Facebook, and it began to grow. How quickly did it grow?
I'd say the first year was quite steady, wasn't it? And then last year he did a non-uniform day at school where all the children got to wear a Christmas jumper in exchange for a donation. And then this year it's just gone a bit crazy, hasn't it, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been very exciting for him to watch the progress sort of develop each year. He's met a lovely lady at the hospital called Lynn, who he talks to quite regularly. And comes up with all sorts of lovely ideas for fundraising in the future and things like that. So, yeah, he's just been keeping busy with it, haven't you?
Well, and it's incredible what you've achieved. It makes such a difference to so many people. But for Elliot, at the beginning of lockdown, really, when all of us were going through all this sort of very strange time, Elliot's health began to change, didn't it? What was going on for him?
It did. He was sick every now and again. So every couple of mornings he'd say, oh, I feel really sick. And then he would throw up. And then for the rest of the day, he'd be absolutely fine. And this went on for a little while. We took him to the GP. We thought it was maybe anxiety or just, concerns about being in lockdown. It was a big change for them. And then beginning of July, he started not being able to walk properly. He was very wobbly on his feet, a lot of double vision. You laugh about it now, don't you? You find it quite funny, but he was really wobbly and it was quite worrying to watch. And it got to the point where he actually collapsed after a family holiday. And we phoned for an ambulance. They took him up to our local hospital, and within a few hours, he was diagnosed with having a brain tumour. And then we were then transferred up to Bristol Children's Hospital, which is 200 miles away from our home, where he had an operation to remove the fluids on his brain, and then a second operation, which was around 14 hours long, to remove the main tumour. And then it's been recovery from there. So one of the side effects from the operation is a condition called posterior fossa syndrome, which happens to about 1 in 3 children, which meant Elliot lost the ability to walk, to talk, to do anything for himself. So he started talking again at the end of September, which is coming on very, very well. He's now very, very talkative. Aren't you?
Yeah.
And
well
it must have been as a family, so difficult, because as Holly said, this all started at the beginning of the first lockdown. And it's bad enough if you haven't got a poorly member of the family, but especially if you're travelling such a big distance between 2 homes. You're both wedding photographers, so no work, and you've got that long journey. You're separated as a family. That must have been a nightmare.
Oh, it's really hard. Elliot was one of 5 children. He's second eldest, so to be apart was just not really possible for us. I mean, we did what we could to stay together. When we all moved back up to Bristol, we obviously had to support our hometown in Cornwall, and so we managed to stay in a hotel for a short time in Bristol before we found some private residence to stay in. And it was really hard. The COVID laws are really difficult. Obviously, only one parent at a time in the hospital. We couldn't even see his siblings. We literally were just waving across the street to each other, just to try and give Elliot a bit of moral support. We've always been a very close family, and to be separated was so hard, but we're so glad that we're back together now, and sort of looking forward to Christmas, really.
I bet you are. And that kindness that you've showed strangers was paid back to you. I know lots of friends and classmates have raised £12,000 to help you because, like you said, you're out of work and yet you're trying to find accommodation 200 miles away. So a lot of kindness has been shown in your direction. However, the award for kindness in all of this story really does have to go to you, Elliot, because despite going through this on your own, this terrible, terrible thing, and you think, well, maybe you'll give this fundraising a year off this year, but you didn't, and you continued. And you've been working really hard and really busily to get more gifts to give to children just like you who are poorly in hospital that might be separated from those that they love, and it's given you more empathy. Why do you think you wanted to carry on doing it?
What do you think?
It's a tough one, isn't it?
You got shy.
So what made you want to give presents still this year, even though you're feeling poorly yourself?
So he did say it was because he felt that children would be really lonely again, and he's had a flavour of that, of what it's like to be isolated in hospital.
Absolutely.
So I think that's just keeping you going, isn't it? Knowing that you can help other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's actually said here in a little quote that he's given us, "I'm excited for Christmas because it's my favourite day of the year. This hasn't been nice and I don't like COVID, but I am fine and I like giving presents to people." We think you're incredible,
We do.
Elliot. You've given so
You're
many
amazing.
toys to other children. So we thought maybe if it's all right with you, we could give you a toy. Would that be okay?
Oh.
Yeah, would you like that?
So we've got you the Nintendo Switch Lite in the studio, so you can carry that around with you.
Is that good?
Yeah.
What would
Yeah?
you say?
Thank you so much.
Oh,
You're
you're so welcome.
You are welcome.
Listen-
We think you're amazing. We think you're all amazing. That's love to the whole family.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas, you guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, guys.
See you
Thank you so
later.
much.
Well done, Elliot.
Running up. Nathan.
Yes,
Good
Elliot.
What did you say?
What did he say?
At least we don't have to spend so much money on my birthday now. That's what you wanted.
Oh my
He's
God,
incredible.
love him.
Thank you, guys. Merry Christmas.
Oh, sweet boy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.